Hey YouTube, now that I'm a little bit more alive and lunch is in and my sister and my baby sits up, granted, it made him fall asleep in the high chair. I thought I'd give you kind of an overview of my life. Met my best friend, 1st grade, still friends to this day. Met my husband in 6th grade, didn't know we'd be married at that point, but now we are. Met my baby's father in high school, but didn't date until later. I'm gonna step back. My name is Adrienne. I'm from Colorado. I was born July 13th, 1994. I'm married with one beautiful child. Granted, it is not my husband's child, but he is the father, 100%. DNA does not make you the father. It's if you're there, raising them, loving them, because he's 100% Daniel's father. That's all Daniel's gonna know. So, like I said, all my favorite people, Crystal, Nick, kind of Matt, he has a piece in here. I dated Matt after high school. Nick and I dated off and on throughout high school, all these things, but didn't really work out. We went our separate ways, so then got with Matt because he was a bad boy after high school and did it off and on for a few years. Talked to Nick a little throughout that, but not much. But we're still best friends with Crystal. Well, 2015 I found out I was pregnant with Daniel. But the birth father Matt, the person I thought I might marry because we'd been through so much, ran. Said, you have an abortion, and I'm running. And I didn't hear from him since, except to fight for his PS4 system that he left at my house and wasn't ever going to give it back because I sold it. Well, granted, I didn't sell it, my dad sold it for money, but we needed it because we were struggling. Surprise baby, not planned on it, no father in the picture, and I was thinking about adoption. Well, through all this, it got me to talk to Nick because he had been through adoption. And he said, promise me one thing. You will never put him up for adoption. You will take him and be a mother. He said, I will be here to help you. I said, sure. That sounds great. But I still, part of me was having hard hearts. Things didn't work. We tried dating, but we couldn't really make it work because he lived out in Florida. I was in Colorado. I was pregnant. I was going through the motions. I got with another guy. It was just bad. My family didn't think that this was going to be good. So, on my birthday, 21st birthday, pregnant, kind of pissed because I don't get to have a 21st birthday because of the choices I made. Well, I decided to try to talk to Nick again because I knew he was mad at me, but I thought, deep down, that's what I need. That's what my best friend told me. She said, try it. You really care for him. He really cares for you. You guys have just had hiccups in your friendship and relationships. So, yeah. I texted him and said, hey, you know what? I really miss you. I love you. Can we try this again? He's like, well, I'm not ready to be a father, but I really love you, kind of thing. So, we kind of said, we're going to try this long-distance relationship again. See where it goes. As time goes on, I said, you have to come back. If you keep saying you're going to be there, I need you, I love you. He said, I'll always come back, but I can't afford to come back to Colorado right now. Couldn't afford, but he said, I'll be there for the birth. Well, the birth was supposed to be in November. So he got tickets for the week that Daniel was supposed to be born, granted. Well, 3.5 weeks early, on a Saturday, I go into labor. And I have Daniel, and Nick's not there. But he was texting me. He said, I'm sorry, I can't be there. Granted, Daniel came super fast. Water broke, and I was at the hospital delivering him in like 5 hours. We didn't think it was that fast, but got to the hospital, I was already at 10. They thought my mom parking the car might not even be back in time. Well, she was, because I kind of couldn't get everything together to kind of push out a baby yet. Scared as all get out, but I had him. Granted, Nick had his mom there that adopted him, which made me feel better because I knew Nick wanted somebody in there. So he knew how things were. So I have Daniel, and Nick and I were talking, and I was like, you need to come back. He's like, I can't. Well, a month after Daniel was born, he says, I'm doing it. I'm packing my stuff. After Thanksgiving, I'll be there. So he packs his stuff and comes back and helps with Daniel. He was living with his mom, I was living with my parents, but we were still trying to make things work. He was trying to start to get to know Daniel and make this work. Well, we thought nothing was wrong with Daniel, nothing. Until his 2-month doctor's appointment, they heard a heart murmur. And said, I don't think it's anything, but he was 2.5 weeks early, let's check him out. We get him checked out. They say, no, things aren't good. His heart's like Swiss cheese spaghetti. He needs oxygen. So he had holes in his heart all intermingled, and he had high blood pressure. So it's pulmonary hypertension. We were devastated, but we thought, there's hope. Surgeries can plug the holes. He'll get better. Well, as time was going, surgeries and things were looking up. They thought maybe he has this rare disease called Russell Silvers because he was so small and all these things. Well, no, he didn't have that. When they did the DNA working, they found out he had something even more rare. Right now, to our knowledge, there's like only 200 cases of it in the world. It's called KBG. Figuring out he had it, figuring out I had it, and I was the carrier. And I had a 50-50 chance to give it to him, and he got the unlucky end of the straw. Which means my developmental delays, my back stuff, was answered, and it kind of showed me how he was going to live. So having a heart condition and a rare gene thing, kind of rough. Not even a year old. At this point, he's like almost a year, but not quite. Nick and I were still dating and making things work, but with Daniel, it was so hard. He was on oxygen, and he couldn't do a lot of things. It was hard. He was so delayed. And I felt horrible because I had given him KBG, being that I just randomly got it. My parents didn't give it to me, which sucked, but we managed. So, with all of Daniel's stuff, things weren't getting any better, and he couldn't be on the mountains with my parents anymore. That we thought, Nick and I should maybe just talk about it. We had dated for a little over a year this last time, and should we get married for Daniel, and just so that things can move faster. So we decided at the beginning of August, oh yeah, let's do September 25th, or 24th. My bad, I should know that. All these things get kind of crazy. The call becomes one blur because we have struggles with Daniel, but we manage. So anyway, we had not much time to plan a wedding. Not much time for anything. My parents stepped in and helped us so much. We were able to have a beautiful wedding, have our son there, and start our family. But as time went on, Daniel was still having surgeries to help his heart. Daniel was, but things weren't getting any better. And then finding out with more with KVG, things could happen. They're like, watch out for seizures. He could have them. Granted, you never had them. He might not. Well, things were kind of okay. He was on his 3rd heart surgery. And didn't go so good. They said the pressures aren't getting any better. They're super high and super dangerous. Putting him on another medicine. And if that doesn't go good, he doesn't have a very long life. But we knew medicine was going to help. We weren't looking at the negative. And we just did what we had to do. Oxygen all day, every day. We did the new medicine. We kept going to the doctors, hoping that the pressures would go away. And they didn't. went and saw the lung doctor. They said, because the pulmonary hypertension goes right along with your lungs, they said he's not doing good. His lungs aren't good. So they said he probably has been swallowing something wrong and going down into his lungs instead of his stomach. I was devastated. We only found that out because he had 2 seizures in one day. We never thought that day would come. He seizured in my arms at church in the parking lot waiting for us to go in. My husband took over. We got to the hospital. He had a second seizure later in the hospital. We were stuck in the hospital for 3 days when they did the MRI to check his brain. They also did a CT on his lungs because they thought, we need answers for everything. Well, things were looking up. We thought we got a new medicine for seizures. He's acting good, but he stopped eating. He was starving himself, throwing up, and all these things that wasn't good. Granted, this was only a few months ago. This is December. So, life wasn't so great for us. We were trying to figure things out. Nick had started a new job. I was trying to work and not lose my job because of Daniel. And so, in the last few months, he's had one more seizure. He has not gotten any better with his heart. The holes have plugged. They said it's a holes plugged in your tube, and it's not healed. You don't have a good outcome in life. He has pulmonary arterial hypertension now, and they say we're looking at maybe 6 to 10 years. Granted, things might prolong life. Things haven't been easy because he has KVG and PAH, but that doesn't stop me. I get myself down a lot saying this is all my fault. My husband gets anxiety because he doesn't want something to happen to our baby. But we know God's got this, and we know because we're strong together, it'll be okay. We'll live the longest life we can with Daniel. I just want to be here to help you guys understand that when things are hard, you can do it. It's not just, it's hard, give up. Granted, I've tried doing that a whole bunch and learned it fails. But if you have an end date, or maybe 8 years with your family, live it to the fullest. Don't let it get you down that you waste that time you could have had with your family. So I just want to say, my story, you got bits and pieces of it to understand Daniel, but I want to be able to hear and help you guys with what I've learned, because this is an easy world and there's not a lot of helps out for all these people. The government doesn't understand this side of life, so they won't have helps for that. And I think I can understand some things to help you guys out, because I care. As a mother, and as a wife, and as a family member, I care.